Hello, church. I've been sitting here thinking about my sermon this Sunday. The title is The Believer and Unbelievers. And again, we're going back to Romans 12. And this is the last half of Romans 12, or the last third of Romans 12. Sermon titles The Believer and Unbelievers. How are we supposed to relate to unbelievers? And again, it goes back to Romans 12:1 and 2. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercy of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable act of worship. That's a deep verse. And like we've said on everything that we preach from verse 3 on, what Paul is telling us about how we should live is impossible to live without presenting our bodies a living sacrifice, giving it all to God. We're supposed to love our enemies, do good for those that treat us wrong. I think, I don't know about you, but I think as I've gone down these verses, it's gotten harder and harder to do without presenting our bodies a living sacrifice. And when it got to the believer versus unbelievers, how we should act and react, I've gotten to thinking about the fact when Christ died for us, before we came to Christ, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Jesus Christ came into the world to save sinners, Paul says, among whom I am the chief. And the reality of it is, what God is asking us and how God is asking us to treat unbelievers is exactly the way he treated us. We were the unbelievers. And he did everything he needed to do to bring us into a right relationship with him when we were far apart from him. I was reading a little bit about the story of the love of God. Some of the verses, in particular verse 3, which is, could we with ink the ocean fill, and were the skies of parchment made, were every stalk on earth a quill, and every man a scribe by trade, to write the love of God above would drain the ocean dry, nor could the scroll contain the whole, though stretched from sky to sky. The beginnings of that song, and in particular that verse, actually goes back to an 11th century Jewish poem. And it got kicked around from place to place, and the last place it showed up was actually on the wall, written in pencil, in an insane asylum. After the inmate had died, they went in and found the words to that verse. And then later on in the early 20th century, a man came across that and wrote the first two verses. It's an amazing song, and it's an amazing thing to think about and dwell on. How much God loves us, how much he loved us, and how far and alienated we were to him, and yet he still loved us. I can't begin to comprehend that. And I can remember as I was working on my outline Monday, I thought, man, this stuff's hard. How can I do this? How can I love unbelievers like this? And then, like I said, I came to today and I thought, God's asking us to do exactly what He's already done. It's not impossible. God did it. We're not God. But the God that did it, when we entered into a relationship with Him, empowers us with His love to love others. The love of God is greater far than tongue or pen can ever tell. It goes beyond the highest star and reaches to the lowest hell. The guilty pair bowed down with care. God gave His Son to win. His erring child He reconciled and pardoned from his sin. O love of God, how rich and pure, how measureless and strong, it shall forevermore endure the saints and angels' song. When hoary time shall pass away, and earthly thrones and kingdoms fall, when men who hear refuse to pray, and rocks and hills and mountains call, God's love so sure shall still endure, how measureless and strong, redeeming grace to Adam's race, the saints and angels' song. O love of God, how rich and pure, how measureless and strong, it shall forevermore endure the saints and angels' song. Could we with ink the ocean fill, and were the skies of parchment made, were every stalk on earth a quill, and every man a scribe by trade, to write the love of God above, would drain the ocean dry, nor could the scroll contain the whole, though stretched from sky to sky. O love of God, how rich and pure, how measureless and strong, the saints and angels' song. Hope that touches you like it touched me. Such strong words. We need to be busy about sharing and spreading God's love because he loved us. Go get busy, church. Love you.